Java is absorbing all the impact. It is evolving and accelerating with time.
We have been through the journey of how Java has evolved.
Languages come and go, but Java keeps reinventing itself.
It will be very interesting to observe exactly how we are able to cope up with the onslaught of the AI world, right? It was always a nightmare to do a legacy migration.
But with the GenAI tools, we are able to generate the current architecture, technical specification very fast.
Imagine two forces colliding, one being a programming language powering enterprise backbone for the last 30 years, the other being a machine-led intelligence ensuring everything is rewritten and reimagined.
And this collision is happening right now as we speak. Take any domain, banking, retail, finance, it's everywhere. And the shock waves are redefining and reshaping how we build, how we migrate, integrate, and how we operate a software.
And somehow, Java is absorbing all the impact. It is evolving and accelerating with time.
In this episode, we talk about Java, how it has been able to survive the test of time, how it has been relevant and being the lifeline of the entire IT backbone in the last 30 years, and how it is still relevant and evolving with the arrival of GenAI-first approach. I am Manish Verma, Senior Director Technology, and with me are joining two senior manager techs, Ambika and Priti. They have led their respective deliveries, implementing with GenAI-first approach for their respective accounts. Ambika.
Always excited to talk about Java. And personally, I'm very passionate about it because, we have been through the journey of how Java has evolved. And today, looking at the aspect of GenAI to it, it's even more fascinating because it is kind of reimagining how we did our SDLC from requirement to taking it to production.
Absolutely. Languages come and go, but Java keeps reinventing itself. And with AI accelerators, story is getting more and more exciting. Let's start there. Java was born in 90s, and 30 years later, we are still talking about it. What makes it so resilient even in AI-driven era?
It's very interesting. If you look upon, there has always been an evolution. There always has been a scenario of some kind of transformation journeys. Whether you look about close to 90s, where you had this COBOL mainframes. From there, we moved towards Corba, then the EJB standards, followed by introduction of classical Java MVC kind of solutions to Spring Boot, and then Spring Boot MVC and Spring Boot microservices. So that's a journey we have seen, and it will be very interesting to observe exactly how we are able to cope up with the onslaught of the AI world, right? Because we have to redo a lot of things that we have been doing, reimagine a lot of things that we have been doing before. Amika, you want to share some thoughts?
Yeah. Let's take a recent example. There's a 20-year-old legacy system with its code base, with Java, JSP, all the legacy stuff there, right? And I think, Priti, you had a recent experience of looking at this kind of a system. Can you share your experience?
Yeah, recently I got a chance to work on a legacy application modernization actually. It was a 20-year-old code base. So imagine if we have to analyze so much old code base, it will take so much of time. If we are talking about the GenAI tools now, it has helped us tremendously. We were able to analyze the legacy code very quickly. We were able to create the current state architecture, which would have taken us weeks to create, looking at the code and generating the architectural diagram. But with the GenAI tools, we are able to generate the current architecture, technical specification very fast. With looking at the legacy code and then taking these diagrams and technical specification, now we are able to generate the target state architecture very quickly. Along with that, we are able to generate the code that manually would have taken weeks or months even. Now we are able to do it in weeks of time.
Ah, that's interesting. The code to spec to code, right?
Yeah, and think about this. If we are doing it manually, it would have taken such a big team and would have taken months of efforts. But with the PS's GenAI tools, we were able to accelerate it very quickly.
But what is the difference, right? Is it the people? Is it the framework? Or is it the Java knowledge base? So what is the difference here?
It's interesting. It was always a nightmare to do a legacy migration. So a lot of I can think of in my go to old days. There's so many projects that were taken to do some kind of migration, but we could never go to production because sheer the risk element and many other things. So overall, what you see now, the generative AI has solved a lot of problems. But the point is, it's not about the generative AI; it's the entire ecosystem. It consists of the following things like people. It has got the tool that people will use, and then comes your ability to build agents. And to write agents, there's so many platforms, so many frameworks are evolving every now and then. For an organization, it's important to stabilize this layer because you cannot go and pick up some evolving framework now and having no future, it will impact the entire code base. So if you look upon Publicis Sapient, we are investing heavily in all these areas. We are building our own platform. We all know we have an AI agentic platform called Bodhi, which offers us a lot of agents for marketing services. It provides us a backbone for us to go and build agents. We also have the access to an AI assistant tool called Slingshot, and that allows us to accelerate our development to let the machines do what they are best in terms of writing the machine-driven code development. But here I want to emphasize on the key point. We keep talking about different tools in the market. We keep jumping to, okay, I have this tool. This can do it has got some better feature. A lot of clients we talk to, they talk about comparing different kind of AI assistant tool. The crux is not about tool. It's about the assets, the accelerators that you have created, whatever tools you may have. It's not about the developers, creativity or productivity, being able to imagine a very intense or highly detailed code, because we haven't seen that happening in the past also. So with AI coming in, with a lot of machine coming into picture in terms of even evaluating your outcomes, the importance of creating a very in-depth agent is so important for us to be successful. So we have done, as a Publicis Sapient, we have invested heavily on people. Exactly, they should know how to use these tools, like say Slingshot tools as an AI assistant, or use these legacy migration framework pipelines to take up your Corba or mainframe or COBOL, whatever you take up, right? Or even monolith microservices or any legacy integration solutions at MuleSoft or TIBCO, whatever you want. You want to migrate to a new world, right? Of let's say Azure-based ecosystem for microservices. Everything you need to build those very stable, mature agents that can overtake this, that can drive this entire journey.
And also, the tools that we have created now, the Slingshot, Bodhi, all of that is really accelerating how we do the development. But one question that comes to my mind is, how do we look at the progression for Java developers? Like, how are they supposed to rediscover themselves?
I will say Java developers have to reinvent themselves rather than technology being absolute. What we are saying is we have to learn, or we have to look at the agentic AI frameworks along with the Java expertise. Let's talk about the same example, legacy modernization applications, right? Where we used PS's agentic Bodhi platform to modernize the application or generating the proof of concepts, right? This is where we have to combine all the expertise. Your Java experience is very handy in such scenarios, and it is also helping you to evolve along with the PS provided agentic AI frameworks.
So I think if I summarize what both of you have highlighted, the importance of toolings and platforms, which is giving an abstraction. And in fact, the key points to be noted here is the importance of platform, in-house platform, which is very much important. Because what you're doing is you are able to provide a set of APIs, which is, you can think of underlying agents which can perform specific tasks for you. As a consumer, as a user of those APIs, you don't care how they are written. You care for, they are either exposed over MCPs or maybe APIs, and you just go and consume. So as a developer, I can continue to use them or consume them as a Java developer or as a Python developer. But yes, there are people who would also be creating those agents, and most of the modern libraries that are coming, evolving in the space of GenAI, they are actually very much Python driven. And one reason that Python is picking up, but then the responsibility of the platform team is to abstract that change for the developers at scale. And if you now look back, what has happened in the past, right? When it has always been a natural to the Java developers to go through such kind of, transformation journeys. When EJB containers came, nobody was aware. Containers were doing security for you, transaction for you. It doesn't mean that it impacted Java developers in a big way. It just went up the value chain, right? So when we don't have to struggle with exactly how do we write our transactions or the complete lifecycle management of our objects that was getting created in the world of EJB. It was very popular. By the way, I really loved working on EJBs, right? With all the state management and stateless session, stateful, everything being there. Same if you go further in future, the same thing happened with your Spring Boot, which the reason it became so popular was it was able to handle a lot of your lifecycle behavior out of box.
Yeah.
And the very reason that development in Spring Boot become a lot more easier, it required less of proficiency in your ability to write. Now again, you do fast forward. GenAI, it has made it further simplification, because now it's doing the entire code generation for you. Does it? So none of these steps have actually replaced Java developers. They have kept on moving up the value chain, focusing upon the higher level aspect. If you look up on Spring Boot, what do? You do annotation to pick up transactions or to mark something for service. Now you're not complaining that I'm no more writing a transactional that code to perform this. You just bring a transaction, right? So exactly that's the way the developers is going up the value chain and focusing upon more important things around design, architecture, or security and higher level aspect. And this is where the domain knowledge is extremely important. As a developer, you cannot afford to continue to focus upon only syntax. That space has been taken by the GenAI or GenAI assisted tools. Now we have to grow up. We have to further be more adaptive in terms of being able to bring in the thought process, the design thinking, and the extendability, adaptability, everything. When I say extendability, it's about bringing in the GenAI driven tools, use of platform, understanding of the entire ecosystem library which is coming up with your GenAI.
So Manish, what are the opportunities and challenges do you foresee with the Java community people?
If I just pick up two examples, most of our legacy modernization, because the industry now is able to believe that it can happen. There are already a couple of lot of pilot is happening everywhere. I'm sure every company is going through, and in PS also we are doing a lot of projects around the legacy modernization. So this itself is going to like $1 trillion opportunity for the industry, right? That's big, right? The second area that I see is most of the microservices that have been written in the late 2000 and onwards, which are more Spring Boot oriented, I'd say. I'm sure most of the business would like to now evolve it further, make it smarter, intelligent, and adaptive microservices. I see biggest opportunities. Apart from new journeys and stories that we will anyway have new requirements that you have to do, right? That's an opportunity, and I will definitely come to you, Ambika, for your thoughts on adaptive microservices, how you are doing it.
Sure. Yeah, I think the change that I'm seeing is essentially, and how I look at it is essentially, we are moving from a reactive way of looking at microservices to a proactive way of looking at microservices, right? And this needs to change from even the design thinking, right? So when I say proactive, what I mean there is, look at it from predicting to learning to adapting and then feedback, right? So earlier when we used to write a microservice, we used to write rule-based microservice. And then now that becomes, gets into the loop that I said, that's predict, learn, adapt, and then loop back. So that's essentially how I see things changing.
So what do you think that how the Java world is evolving in here? We see a lot of tools are coming from the Python side, a lot of libraries are evolving on the Python side, but how the Java ecosystem is changing here?
Yeah, so I think there is a lot of work going on in that space too, and I don't think Java's left alone there. We have these libraries like LangChain 4J, Spring AI,
Yes.
Vertex AI with Java APIs. All of these are evolving, and it is helping the Java developers and the communities stay in the same ecosystem and develop the agentic AI architecture with RAG systems and all of it. So I think that world is evolving too.
Yeah. So if I have to think through what you spoke about, right? So the key takeaway for me is the world is evolving, the Java ecosystem is evolving, and along with that, Java developers have an opportunity to become more and more productive in all the SDLC aspect of the software development, right?
Yeah, I think that's a perfect summary, right?
Yeah, and I will just, my final closing remark would be for the Java community is you have been avoiding the data space because you believe this is data modeling is not my job. This is done by some database or DBA. We saw how DBA role over time got literally eliminated because that was a responsibility collectively was being handled by the team, right? So that's a reason that they have not made much progress in the past in the GenAI space.
Yeah.
So you can do everything. I mean, we are all Java community. We can do everything the way we have been able to get into the UI, DevOps. Now people can do DevOps very well. They can write the pipeline, everything. And another area is the testing. So they have to break the boundaries, stretch themselves into these two areas, and particularly data space because the next level is MLOps.
Yeah.
So now we have discussed various topics from Java developers to GenAI ecosystems and how we are evolving with the ecosystem of GenAI technology or the trends. Let's do a fun bit. How about a rapid fire round?
That sounds fun.
Let's do this. One word that you will describe Java in 2026.
Reinventing.
Evergreen.
Okay. The most underrated Java superpower.
Reliability that is usually ignored, until something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Their adaptability that they can survive the test of time.
For me, it would be running everything from ATMs to trading systems. What will the Java developers brag about in future?
We've grown with AI.
That they designed and coded the most complex systems.
Okay. Hottest GenAI trends Java developers should watch out for.
Adaptable microservice.
The platform AI services offered by their respective organizations and cloud AI.
For me, it would be Spring AI, which is eating the world.
Wow.
One thing you want AI to take over immediately.
Documentation that people actually read.
Yeah.
I'll say, let me enjoy Hawaii, work from Hawaii.
For me,
And also I'll collect my paycheck as well.
good one. For me, it will be merge conflict resolution very quickly.
Oh,
The nightmare of the developers.
definitely.
And the last question, one message for the Java community right now.
Learn and adapt faster than Maven updates.
Well, it's a very serious stuff. It's now or never.
For me, I'll say learn prompts like you learn loops. And this concludes our rapid fire round. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So, as we conclude this episode today, Manish, what is your one message for the Java viewers?
First, I would like to thank you for fantastic rapid round that we had today. And my message to the Java community is twofold. First, you have to be very focused upon the nature of assignment that you are taking in the near future. It must be AI first. I would say GenAI first. The second is about your own readiness to take up GenAI based work. And that involves you investing your time, finding somewhere, sometime to go and learn these skills. We in PS, Publicis Sapient, we are investing heavily on our people, and our community is responding very well. So I'm sure we are doing our bit. Are you doing your bit? I hope you're doing. Thank you.